Hey, I'm Bree, and this is my sister Jules. I'm an English teacher.
And I'm crashing out trying to think of an intro.
And together we drink wine as we unpack the brilliant writing of the hit 90s sitcom Boy Meets World. Cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
Blink. What are we drinking?
Legs. We're drinking Juggernaut Cabernet Sauvignon. Have you heard of it?
I have, because I was hosting trivia at a bar, because that's what I do also. A lot of talking into mics. And this person, he struck up a conversation after, and she and her friend both walked me to my apartment and then needed to use the restroom, came up, stayed until 2 a.m. Yes, I know this makes me sound like I am letting strangers into my apartment. What am I doing? You had to kind of be there. She ended up being a medium and a life coach. And she gave, oh man, it was really interesting. She actually read my energy. She told me there's someone really important in my life with the letter J, which is you.
Just J.
And I ended up serving her the wine, the bottle of wine that I had opened from having just recorded with you. When I saw her next after that, because we became friends after that, obviously it was kind of one of those instant friendship things. She gave me this bottle of wine and she said it's her favorite wine. And I really like it. What do you think?
It's very rich and deep. I quite like it too. It's definitely my kind of wine. Listener, if you're not familiar with Juggernaut, it's got a really cool drawing of a very fierce lion with talons. And when I tell you that multiple people at the store were like, the art sold you on this one, didn't it? Because it is really cool to look at. And it's definitely the type of bottle that I would take just because it looked really cool.
Agree. It is very, fierce
This
looking.
reminds me that there's I don't remember if we talked about this on the podcast before, but there's an interesting article discussing the range of quality and price of wine depending on the type of animal that's on it. There is a certain range, and some are more expensive than others, and there's lots of different animals that are covered in this spectrum. And I think they found that the highest quality, cheaper bottles of wine have mallards on them. Mid to high quality, expensive bottles tend to have lions on them.
What?
It's called the porigin of species. Yeah, the median price of wine with amphibians or reptiles is $30. The bear tend to have a high price, but maybe not quite as high quality. Bird was a great midway point. You don't want to spend too much, but you still want a good bottle. You can pretty much bet that it's going to be good.
Bottom line, bet on fish. 24.2% of them are in the magical good deals quadrant. Mm-hmm. So if you see a fish, get the bottle. It's going to be a good wine, according to this site. That's funny. This is great. Thanks for sharing. I like this wine. It reminds me of Apothic Red a little bit less sweet than that. So I do like it. It's heavy. I'd probably drink it in the winter.
This is a winter wine with a stew.
Yes.
I want a stew that's been over the stove for 10 hours. This wine is part of the Bogle portfolio, which I do believe we've had their wine before.
We have.
On the show. Yeah, this is part of Bogle.
All right, let's get into the episode. So today we watched season 2, episode 9, Fear Strikes Out. I don't understand why it's called that now that I think about it. There are no baseball references. Cory believes he is ready to kiss girls. Air date November 18th, 1994. You've been alive for 10 days. A 10-day-old baby. And it was written by Susan Estelle Jansen, who we've seen many times before. She wrote Killer Bees, Santa's Little Helper, It's a Wonderful Night. In this season, she wrote Uninvited, and she's going to write 2 more episodes to come in this season, Cyrano and Wrong Side of the Tracks. I've grown to like her. I like her writing. It was directed by David Traynor. Viewers 19.3 million.
I remembered seeing this episode. It's rare that I remember them. And this one, I was like, something about this I remembered. It's so 90s to me. I loved it.
Everyone's outfits were fire in this episode.
Topanga's outfit on the date, I was like, yes, I loved it.
Did you notice the buttons?
No.
They were sunflowers with like petals made of cotton.
I
Yeah.
love it.
It was super 90s. Why were sunflowers such a thing in the 90s? I feel like everyone had a sunflower dress.
Or like a sunflower on their hat.
Yes! A floppy hat with a sunflower on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Such a thing.
She was wearing like the dress version of that hat. And then, but all the guys had these like cool, like white tee with a collared shirt with like a cool graphic that was very minimalist and chic. Very poetry slam, actually, which I'm realizing now was obviously featured in the episode, right?
You're right. It was very poetry slam.
Yeah. What is that? What is the name for that aesthetic? It's like Panera Bread jazz chic or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's literally what it is.
I, again, didn't love a truth that was being accepted that was not being challenged. So the sort of thing that was being normalized was that guys don't want to be nice and that they need to be like tough and kind of like take charge and just kiss girls and while I'm at this point, I think a few years ago, I would have been a lot more like, no, this is the problem. This is like why we've like created this society in which men feel that they can just ignore boundaries and, have their way with women and do what they want and like grab them and kiss them and, feel them and touch them and lock them in rooms and do horrible things. But now I've come around to kind of accepting that there is some truth to this idea that like there are a lot of women, straight women, who like do like men to be more aggressive and like not in a violent way, but in a way where they like take charge and they're strong.
Be it like forward, yeah.
Forward, yeah, and confident and, definitely like make the first move. But I don't love this idea that like boys need to suppress any niceness or they can't be nice. That worried me. There's nothing wrong with being nice. And in fact, being nice is super attractive. And I knew what he meant by like, nice guy. But I wished there was something from the adults that kind of just like confirmed that being a good person should be number one. And that like here's a healthy way to be assertive while also still being kind. I guess I'm blabbing. I'm probably going to cut this, but what do you think?
I agree. It's not something that was in my head while watching it. I do think by the end it wasn't the resolution, so to speak, was not him taking charge and foregoing his nice guy status. I think they both mutually decided to kiss, which I think is a great message. It didn't feel like she was the aggressor, he was the aggressor. They both felt like that was the right moment to do that.
Yeah.
And in the end, right I'm jumping ahead, but at the very end, when Topanga checks in on him and all of her friends are like giggling in the background, like, "Hi, Cory," that was as a result of like him being generally a good guy. And I'm specifically using the word good guy versus nice guy because you don't want to mistake like nice guy syndrome versus being a genuinely good human. And that's what Cory is. He wasn't a nice guy. He wasn't an aggressor. He was a good person in the way that Cory is. He's very true to himself.
Yeah. I loved how authentic he was. I loved that Topanga gave him space to do that. And she was like, look, we don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And I loved the conversation they had at the poetry house after when she was like, girls don't know what they're doing either. Like no one knows what they're doing, and he, made that comment like, it's so easy for you. You just have to like stand there and get kissed. And, I don't know. I don't want to always go the route of like, well, this is the problem, and blah, blah, blah. Let's acknowledge, though, that there is a problem with people taking this too far with the message. If the message is skewed for young men, they believe that they need to constantly prove their masculinity because it's not a given. Just because you're a boy doesn't mean you are masculine for some reason, and so you have to prove it, right? And if you keep getting this message that like being kind or nice or listening or caring is, a problem, if that it's feminine and therefore a problem, which is a whole other issue, right? Because what does that mean about girls, like, and how we value them, and then they can go too far in the other direction, and they can be aggressive and mean in order to keep proving their masculinity. So I will say, like, I think the show did a great job because the show consistently does a great job with Cory as a person, as a character, because he is authentic and maneuvering life deftly despite his hiccups, never really succeeding by doing the wrong thing, if that makes sense. Like, he only ever succeeds in what he wants to, like, he achieves what he wants when he is honest and true. And if he does get something having done the wrong thing, he doesn't feel right about it. And I think that that's what makes him a really admirable character. Sorry, I don't know if that was like a thought thread that followed through for you, but that's the direction my brain went. So we start off in the cafeteria, and Cory and Shawn are talking about going to a party where they're going to play 7 Minutes in Heaven. Did you ever play that game?
No. Did you?
No. Did you ever go to a party where that game was being played?
I don't think so. I don't have a memory of going to a party like that, not even like Spin the Bottle. I don't remember that ever happening.
Yeah.
Like the most like party I went to like in middle school was going to a friend's house, and there were like boys and girls there, and like the parents weren't really that much around, and we would just like play like hip hop music and like dance a little bit. That was risque.
Yeah, we were pretty innocent kids. I think that's why we love Cory so much, because we we relate to him. I've definitely been at parties where there was Spin the Bottle being played, but I think it was in like college. Like, I think that people were playing it kind of ironically in college, but it was still happening, and people were definitely doing it. Yeah, definitely not like middle school. I think that was too young. Like, we were too awkward and uncomfortable, and but I do know that there were people playing it. Like, there was a group of people in my grade that were definitely doing that. I just wasn't a part of that group. Anyway, so they're talking about it, and Cory's like, how do you find the girl? And Shawn's like, with your lips. And Cory's like, I'm gonna like this game. So in the first 2 seconds, he's really confident, and then Eric walks by.
Oh, we're so hopeful for him. 2 seconds of confidence completely crushed by his older brother.
He goes, yeah, if that's what you're eating for lunch, I don't think the girl's gonna like it. And Cory goes, nobody's talking to you. And Eric's like, I'm just trying to help. And he's like over by the vending machine. And Shawn continues, and he's like, okay, look, closet strategy is key. You've only got 7 minutes, and you have to make every second. And the whole time he's saying this, Cory is going, and he's like puckering his lips out and then bringing them back in, puckering his lips, bringing them back in. And Shawn's like, what are you doing? And he goes, lip ups. I want to be in shape. I want to go the distance.
Oh my God. Oh, I just had like a memory just catapult back into my brain from when I must have been in middle school. It was when I had access to YouTube on like a smaller device. I didn't have a smartphone yet, but I probably had like a laptop. And I literally remember looking up videos of how to kiss. And it was like a demonstration, and I would like practice on my hand.
Oh, so cute. I never did that. I don't know. I just knew it was going to happen. Like, it was going to I just know myself, and like, I can't plan for anything because I'm just going to say and do what happens in the moment anyway. Like, I'm such a goober dweeb. Like, I'll just forget everything. So I was like, I'm just going to let it happen. It's all going to unfold as it does. Like,
yeah. Who was your first kiss?
Quillen Punello.
Oh my God, I forgot. Yeah, you're right. It is Quillen. Quillen. Wow.
Yeah, it was like the worst. I remember we were just like standing there, and he was like, okay, like, let's kiss, because that's what we're going to do. And I was like, I can't do it. Like I was being so girly and annoying. And I'm sorry, I'm talking about like femininity and valuing that. I'm literally like girly and annoying. And then like, it's funny that this is exactly the dynamic that is explored in this show. So he was like being assertive. Wow. Like he was like, are we going to do it or not? Like, are you ready? Like, let's do it. And he was definitely the Topanga in this situation. And I was the Cory. I was like, no, I can't do it. And then I think I finally just like did it, but I just like closed my eyes and was like, like I like it was not good. Like I just was trying to like do it to get it over with. And
yeah.
And it never happened again, surprisingly. No, there wasn't like this moment of like, oh, that was disgusting and I hated it. It wasn't that at all. It was just me being way too in my head and not really being in the moment and like even appreciating or liking it because it was scary. And it was all about like overcoming the like narrative of the fact that this was my first kiss. Like I wasn't really like doing it because I wanted to. I was doing it because I was like, it's time.
It's time. I want it over with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you?
My first kiss was Brian Link.
Oh my God, I knew this and I wanted to forget it. Oh no.
But it was like the same dynamic of I was not going to initiate because I was like, and then yeah, he was the confident one. I was like, okay.
Interesting.
It was good. It was a good first kiss. I don't regret it.
Oh, okay. I have since become much better at kissing. At the time, I was really bad at it. Nice. Yeah. So Cory's like, I want to go the distance, doing his lip ups. And Eric walks by, just goes tick, 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 tick. Cory's like, what? Eric goes, time bomb. And then he walks away. I was like, what is he talking about? And Shawn was like, just ignore him. And Cory's like, he's just playing some game. Like, I don't know what he's up to, whatever. And then this like very beautiful teacher walks in and Mr. Turner and Mr. Feeney are sitting at a cafeteria table eating lunch with the students. Not like with them at the same table, but like in the cafeteria while they're eating lunch. And the teacher sits at like a nearby table. And Mr. Turner's like, George. And Feeney's like, what? Turner's like, who dat? And then he's like, don't look. And they're acting like teenagers. And Feeney's like, this is not high school. And then he's like, all right, it's high school, but we're teachers, you fool. And then Feeney says that's Miss Tompkins, that she replaced Edwina Muncie in our social studies department. Mercifully.
Edwina. When was the last time you heard that name?
Muncie is also a great last name. It's a good name altogether. Edwina Muncie. You know, like Feeney's like, did you hire her? And Feeney says yes. And Turner's like, attaboy. And I'm like, oh, I hate that. And then Feeney just goes, take a shower, son. Get a cat. Like I do love the comebacks in this show. Yeah. So Turner's like, you said miss. You didn't say Mrs. That was an is, as in is must be my lucky day.
Yeah, wait. I wanted to comment on this specific part because I was a little confused. He said, you said Ms., not Miss or Mrs. What is the difference between Ms. and Miss?
Okay, so Ms. Women is a title used for women regardless of their marital status, offering a more neutral option.
Ms. or Miss?
So Ms. with an so MS period is Ms. And that's like neutral. Like you don't know if they're married or not. Miss, MISS, is not married.
Unmarried. Okay.
And then MRS, Mrs. is married. Mm-hmm. And all of this is crazy because none of this exists for men.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just Mr.
Yep.
Wait, why have I never thought about that?
Because you are trapped in the world in which you live and it's all ocean and you are a fish swimming in it.
And I am either married or unmarried. I am nothing else besides that.
Because we exist for men. We exist to belong to them. Yes. We are their property.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So they must know if we are available or not for them to have. So Feeney's like, yes, she's single indeed. She's also highly intelligent. And I love how he says that like, and therefore not for you. And Turner goes, that's okay. And And then Feeney's like, Mr. Turner, I frown upon faculty becoming involved with faculty. And Turner goes, then it's not a policy. It's just a facial expression. And Feeney goes, go ahead, skip blithely into the minefield of extracurricular romance. Pure poetry. And at the very end, when that poet is like peaches, Feeney, his face cracked me up because he's just like shaking his head like, this is horrible.
Is that the look he was giving? I kind of thought he was into it.
No, the look he was giving was like, oh, this is terrible. Because he writes poetry without even trying. Skip blithely into the minefield of extracurricular romance.
Wow.
It's brilliant. So Turner goes, thanks. I'm just going over to say hi. Welcome her to our school. How's my hair? Feeney goes, long.
That's the perfect answer for him to give.
Right? You hoodlum. So he goes over, and then we cut to Shawn and Cory talking, and, you know, Cory can't focus. Shawn's like, did what Eric said bother you? And Cory's like, no, not at all. In fact, I'm going over there right now to tell him how much it's not bothering me. So he goes over to Eric. Hi. Eric's like, Cory, what a surprise. Eric basically explains to him that because he's eating beanie weenie casserole, which took me a second, but means like beans and hot dogs, right? Like beanie weenie.
You're just asking for bubble guts.
Bubble guts. That basically, because he's going to be nervous later for the party, if he has intestines full of beanie weenie casserole, that when he goes to kiss a girl, he's gonna fart
and stink up the tiny closet.
But the way he tells him is, he's like, do you get tense thinking about kissing a girl? And Cory's like, no, I get alert. And then Cory's like, and then Eric's like, you see, so what's going to happen is, you know, you'll be there at the makeout party, very alert, your intestines full of beanie weenie, you lean in for a kiss, and you fly across the room. Which again, took me a second. Then I was like, oh my God, it's going to be like a cartoon, and the wind from his fart is going to blow him out the door. And then he cracks his soda.
Yeah, really funny. I really like that a lot. But I also couldn't help but wonder the reason why they just didn't come out and say that he was going to fart. Is it like one, too obvious and cheap to say that?
I think so.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as funny.
Figured. Yeah.
Yeah. And it would have been like blunt. It just would have been like, you're going to fart. Like, I guess that would be kind of funny, but it would just have been a very different kind of joke.
They couldn't say fart so bluntly in front of Mr. Feeney.
So we're at the party. By the way, I was like obsessed with the basement at this party.
Was it the same basement of that annoying, really mean girl, or did they just reuse the set?
I mean, they reused the set, but it wasn't her house. It was decorated totally differently. I just liked the green sconces and like the wood paneled walls, and I felt like there was a fish on the wall. Like, it just had this like cool old study feel to it with like dusty books and cigar smoke. Like, I don't know. I just got like a vibe from it. And I was like, this is a cool place to have a party. And I also was thinking a lot in this episode about like parents who let their kids have these parties. Cause I feel like we grew up in a household where this would have been like really taboo. Like if it was on the table that maybe there would be making out at a party, I feel like our parents would have not allowed us to go. I believe that there are parents who purposefully turn away and allow their kids to have space to explore kissing and, you know, exploring each other.
Yeah, it's in like a controlled environment, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to do a little bit, I'd rather you do it in the house, you know, like that's the mentality.
Yeah. And I was like, now that I'm older and looking back, I understand the terror and the fear because you have to really trust your kid not to go too far. I mean, this is literally how kids get pregnant and stuff, you know, like, so having a bunch of adolescents with hormones raging in an unsupervised space is terrifying to me. But at the same time, I do personally feel pretty stunted when it comes to romance and flirting I literally, we hadn't started recording yet when I was telling you this story. I'll repeat it now. Like, I was literally at a poetry event last night, and there were a couple of people there that I have like crushes on. I'm single. I'm kind of out there. I'm like, and I found myself totally unable to flirt in a way that was cool and calm and charming. Maybe I was to an extent, but then if it ever crossed to like, now it's time to exchange numbers, or like maybe it's time to like really kind of make eye contact and show them that you're interested, I found myself really flitting my eyes away and being really nervous and like being unable to. I'm 34 years old. Like, I shouldn't still be this nervous, but this has been me forever. And I wonder if I had I probably would still be a mess, but like if I had experiences as an adolescent where I could experiment with kissing and, experiment with flirting and with, speaking to people in that way that is different from when you're just talking to a person you're not romantically interested in, right? Like, when you're romantically interested in someone, there's a different way that you communicate with them. And I've sort of been a serial monogamist. And so I quickly get past that first stage and I move right into, cool, so we're together now. And the sort of courting process is something that's always eluded me a little bit. I was kind of glad for him and for the other adolescents in the room during this episode that they got this opportunity to kind of play with each other in this like new higher stakes playground that they've created,
Yeah. And having the comfort of your friends with you to like hype you up and also like cool the tension and kind of fill in the gaps, so to speak.
Totally. Yeah. Like, all day today, I was thinking about my interaction with this one person last night, and I was like, I was regretting not giving my number to them. And I was regretting that I didn't make more eye contact, because I have this like really weird thing with eye contact where I have honestly looked into like if I'm on the spectrum, because I like truly have such difficulty maintaining eye contact with people. Even people I'm not romantically interested in, I find that I listen much better when I don't look at people in their eyes or in their face. And so I look like I'm not paying attention, but I'm really paying attention. And honestly, if I am looking at someone, I'm probably not paying attention to what they're saying, because I'm just like, wow, look at their eyes and look at their face and look at their teeth. But anyway, I think COVID also did a number on me and on all of us in terms of social interaction. And I'm still recovering. I need to like learn how to talk to people. Do you feel confident like flirting?
No, not at all. I don't think I ever flirt. And I think that is a defense mechanism that I don't flirt, because I'm scared of rejection. And so I just don't do it.
Same.
And if somebody's flirting with me, I'm probably not flirting back unless it's very obvious that you're flirting with me. And then I'll do it if I'm into you. So like all of those stars need to align, and then I'll flirt. Otherwise I don't.
What does flirting look like?
Oh God. From me or from somebody else?
From you.
From me? Oh God, I don't know.
It's kind of embarrassing. It's like in its nature, it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, it's like it's probably like less about like the words I say and more about eye contact, physical touch, things like that.
Yeah.
Like the little social cues is where I think I kind of come in with my flirtation if I'm feeling it.
Yeah. So we're in the party and Shawn goes, "This is great. All the girls brought their lips." This is great. And Cory's like, "Shawn, there's the girl with braces. What if I get her? She could cut my tongue and I'll bleed all over my shirt." And then he goes, "Oh no, Sally's wearing wool. I'm allergic. What if I sneeze in her mouth and pop her lungs?"
The wool references, I can't. And popping her lungs from sneezing. This, quite frankly, is overthinking. Like, what, Cory? What are you doing?
The wool references are amazing, because I swear the writers are just like visually associating Cory with wool because of his hair. And they're like, how many times can we make him say wool? Because we think it's funny when he says the word wool.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a bet. How many times can we get this guy to say wool?
All right. So then, also, we've abandoned the like, the boy, remember? Like, something boy, wool boy.
Something boy.
I guess that
Wool
was a season
boy.
1 thing.
Yeah.
Season 1 thing. So he is obviously overthinking, freaking out. Shawn's like, relax, man. Have a snack. They walk over to the table with the snacks. Carbo load for the big race. Cory goes, with bean dip? Are you out of your mind? And Shawn's like, what are you worried about? Your breath? Cory's like, my breath. I didn't even think about that. Oh man, I'm gonna kill him coming and going. I'll blow us both out of the closet. Coming and going. He's gonna kill him leaning in for the kiss because of his breath, and then he's gonna kill him when he farts after the kiss. He's about to leave. Topanga intercepts. She says, hi, Cory. Cory's like, hi, Topanga. Boy, what a great party. I was great. I was in the closet 14 minutes. I'm going to go home and ice my lips. And Cory's like, Eric was right. I can't do it. And Shawn's like, Cory, chill. You're going to be fine. And you know why? Because right up until the second you go into that closet, I'm right here with you, no matter what, because it's Cory and Shawn. Shawn and Cory. And then the kid who's hosting the party pulls out 2 names from the hat and goes, Shawn and Melody. And Shawn goes, see ya. And he's off to the closet with Melanie. And the look that Cory gives Shawn when he heads into the closet is so good. Such good acting. He just looks at him like awe. Like there's awe in his face and longing and like just sheer kid desire to be that way. Like, God, I wish I could just be like my friend. Like just, boop, cool, ready, go, and do it. Shawn obviously has other issues, and Cory is the one in the lucky situation. But
yeah.
So when Shawn comes out of the closet, Cory's like, is that the shirt you went in with? And no, Shawn's wearing a completely different shirt, which was such a silly thing to have him do. Like, I guess in kissing her, he just like took off because he had a t-shirt and a button up over it. So all he did was like his button up over his t-shirt came off. And then he put on another one from the closet.
Well, maybe he was like making out. He was like starting to take off clothes, and then the time was up, and he was like, "Oh, let me put on my shirt again," and then picked up the wrong shirt.
Right.
Yeah.
Clothing coming off in 7th grade. Shocking.
Ooh, that's not supposed to happen until 9th grade at least.
9th grade. Why am I such a prude with kids? I'm just like 9th grade is still so young. I feel like.
Oh, I agree. But if you're starting at 7th,
I know. I don't know why, but for me, like 17. I know that's like crazy because 16 is like probably what most people agree on, but like 17, I'm like
right. 17. I felt like, okay, something is shifting in my brain. I feel more adult-ish.
Yeah.
Felt more appropriate.
I think you're ready for sex at 17. I think up until then, yes, like kissing, like cute little like kissing and flirting and going on dates and holding hands, like all that makes perfect sense to me. But anything that's like clothes coming off and like real heavy touching and stuff, I'm like, I don't know if we should. Maybe I'm just being a prude. Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody's on different timelines.
It's true. Everyone really, truly is. And I think I was just a little behind, personally.
I was definitely behind. Yeah. It was for the best.
Yeah.
You know.
Same. So the host is like, who will be next? Could it be? And he pulls out one piece of paper. Cory. And before he picks the next name, Cory goes, oh no, that's me. Maybe he'll pick me twice and I can go into the closet with myself. And the host goes, Topanga. And I was like, of course. So immediately we cut to Cory and Topanga in the darkness in the closet. And Topanga's like, Cory? And Cory's like, huh? And Topanga's like, are you okay? It's been a couple of minutes and you haven't said anything. Cory just goes, this is stupid. It's pitch black. How am I supposed to kiss you if I can't even see you? And then Topanga turns the lights on and she goes,
sorry, when she turns the lights on and his positioning, like his physical positioning, like away from her, like, I don't want to be near you, was so good.
So good. You're so right. Cory goes, you know, this is crazy. How am I supposed to kiss you with this blinding light in my eyes? So Topanga's like, we don't have to do anything if you don't want to. And Cory just goes, I want to do what everyone else is doing. And Topanga's like, so you're just doing this so you won't be different? Cory's like, I'm just trying to survive this. I was like, ooh, that wasn't the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And then Topanga's like, oh. And Cory's like, no, it's not you, Topanga. It's me. I just can't perform under all this pressure. And Topanga's like, it's okay. Relax. This happens to a lot of guys. Cory's like, how do you know? And Topanga's like, well, you know, girls talk. And Cory goes, oh, man, listen, when you talk to girls, this did not happen to me. Nothing happened. I mean, something happened, but whatever was supposed to happen happened. Topanga's like, do you want to just talk? And Cory goes, could we? It was so cute. So they sit down, and Topanga's like, what do you want to talk about? And Cory's like, well, we could talk about what we're going to tell them when we get out of here. Topanga's like, we could tell them we made out. Cory's like, they'd know. Topanga's like, I could mess up my hair and you could change your shirt. Cory's like, you would have to smile a lot. And Topanga's like, and you would have to get that real sleepy, stupid look. I was very like, about this whole thing because I was like, they're kind of talking about sex, but they're talking about kissing. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. What did you think they were talking about, kissing or sex?
I thought they were talking about kissing.
Okay. And Cory's like, you could change your shirt too. And Topanga goes, don't push it. And Cory's like, why are you being so cool about this? And Topanga says, I don't know, because you're nice. Cory's like, great. Twist the knife. Topanga's like, I meant it as a compliment. And this is when Cory says, guys don't want to be nice. And he stands up and he picks up a fishing net. And he goes, we want to be, tough. He's holding a fishing net saying he wants to be tough. He says, we want to be good with appliances and good kissers. Topanga says, well, there's really only one way to be a good kisser. You have to practice. She is so good. She's so confident. She's so smooth.
I'm so jealous of her confidence at such a young age.
Right? So jealous, so poised, so ready, and knows herself and would never go too far. She just wants to kiss and she knows she's ready for that.
And so patient
yes.
with him because she's like an oracle compared to him. And she's like,
totally is.
Tell me your woes, child. I will listen to you and provide advice.
Yup. Cory is so lucky to have grown up with the love of his life, who basically held his hand and dragged him through his adolescence and helped him become the man he became.
Yep.
What an amazing life. So Cory's like, I think that we have to practice. And Topanga says, yeah. So either we can start messing up our clothes and trying to look stupid, or... And Cory goes, and Topanga says, you could just relax and kiss me. Damn, girl.
Topanga, you got moves.
Relax and kiss me. This is literally what Quillen Bunello said to me. This was my first kiss experience to a T.
God, you and Cory are exactly the same. It's hilarious.
Totally are.
Relax and kiss me. Oh my God.
He did. And you know what's crazy is and I don't want this to come across as I was assaulted. I'm not this didn't traumatize me, whatever. But I did end up doing it because his tone shifted and he was kind of are you going to do it or not? It kind of became dude, get it together. and that's when I kind of zipped it up and I was I'm annoying him. And then we kissed. And that's also why it wasn't great, because I was not feeling in the moment at all. And I don't blame him for it, because he was just a kid and he was it's true. We were about to do it 15 times and I kept being and I kind of did need someone to just be are you going to do it? Or are we done? I'll go home,
Yeah.
So when Topanga said just relax and kiss me, I was yeah, he kind of needed that.
Yeah.
So sure enough, they're about to do it and door opens, end of 7 Minutes in Heaven. And there's a shot of Cory's lips puckered, about to go in for the kiss. And Topanga's just looking at them with her wide eyes. And Cory just stares at everybody. And then he goes, and he tries to mess up his hair.
I love when he tries to mess up his hair and it just stays exactly the same.
So we cut to the bedroom, Cory's bedroom, and Cory's like getting ready for bed, and Mom plops on the bed, and she's like, "So, did you kiss anybody tonight?" What did you think about that as a parent reaction?
No, like absolutely not. This again, I feel like you and I would agree on this. I don't know that other people would, but like I would not be so eager to find out what my 12-year-old, how the 12-year-old did at the birthday party, at the makeout party. Like I it's one of those things where it's like you figure it out. I would probably assume that this is happening, but this is for you to figure out. Like I don't want to know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not good. Maybe I should have a conversation. But this whole like, how did it go? Did you kiss somebody? No.
Yeah. When Alan and Amy walk out, Eric comes out of the bathroom and he's like, "So, Studley, what happened? Tell me." Cory's like, "You got a minute?" Eric goes, "Yeah." And Cory goes, "You won't need it." Eric's like, "Nothing." Cory's like, "Less than. Were you the only guy at the party who didn't make out?" Cory says, "Well, Alvin had a rousing asthma attack and had to leave early, but other than him, the cheese stood alone." Eric's like, "Cor, I want to say that in this, the darkest hour of your youth, I am trying very hard not to laugh." Nope, I can't do it. Cory's like, "Eric, it was a huge party. There was a lot going on. I'm sure no one even noticed." And Eric's like, "Uh-huh." And then we're in the hallway. The host of the party is going, "Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Lipless." Cory's like, "I'm okay. Life goes on. Here," hands Shawn a pencil. "Drive this through my brain." Turner comes over and asks if Cory ever wants to talk about anything. He's here for him. And Cory's like, "Great, even teachers know that I'm pathetic." And Topanga is talking to a whole bunch of girls in the hallway, and she's just like, "Just because he didn't kiss me doesn't mean he's some kind of freak," which is dramatic. Like, everybody relax. We're calling him a freak? Like, that's a little far. And Cory's like, no, make her stop. And Topanga's like, "Look at all of you. Any guy can just crawl in a closet and kiss a girl. But Cory's different because he is a really nice boy." And Cory's like, "Ah."
How dare you say that about me?
Dare you say I'm a really nice boy? We're in the cafeteria. Cory's like, "I'm a nice boy, Shawn," and everybody knows it. Harley comes over. "Hey, baboom." Shawn like tiptoes away, and Harley's like, "Cor." He doesn't say Cor. He just puts his hand on Cory's shoulder because he doesn't know his name. And he's like, "There's an inspirational thought I'd like to share with you. I cried because I had no shoes until I met a boy who had no lips." Do you know like the original?
No.
"I cried because I had no shoes until I met a boy who had no feet." It is often attributed to Helen Keller. Other sources suggest that it may have been used earlier or by other figures like William Shakespeare or Mahatma Gandhi. Joey the Rat, I love him. He goes, "That's a good one, Holly. That's a great one. I'll be laughing at that one for years. I'll be telling my grandkids about it like 60 years from now, unless I don't have grandkids, and then I'll have to tell some strange kids in the park and the cops will come and say, 'Hey, you in the raincoat.'"
Oh my God.
And Harley just goes, "Shut up." Joey goes, "Okay." So then we cut to Feeny, and he's talking to Miss Tompkins. They have a conversation about the fact that Turner has asked Miss Tompkins out on a date. And I'm curious to know what your reaction to this conversation is, because as a teacher, I was like, this is a very casual conversation, particularly on Miss Tompkins' part, because Feeny just hired her. So he's her boss. She's a new employee. And she's shooting the shit with him like they are old pals. And I was like, girl, like,
and
damn.
trying to go after somebody on the staff. It's like week one. No.
Week one?
That's gonna be your reputation then.
I was like, this is a little crazy. But then they had her in these like very bohemian outfits. And I was like, all right, I guess she's supposed to be the like cool Drew Barrymore teacher.
Yeah.
So Feeny's like, "Miss Tompkins, everyone making you feel welcome here your first week?" And Miss Tompkins says, "Some more than others. Jonathan Turner guy, what's the deal with him?" "Oh, come on. He asked me out. I just want to know if he's an axe murderer." I mean, honestly, it was the "oh, come on" for me that I was like, I would like never say that to my boss. Even now, after being there for 6 years, I would never be like, "Oh, come on." She asks if he's an axe murderer, and Feeney says, it wasn't on his resume. Which I read as like his way of telling her, like, I'm your boss. So she says, I was just wondering, is he the safe and sane type, or is he more of a dangerous rebel loner? And Feeney says, if pressed, I'd be forced to say he's more of the latter. And Tompkins goes, excellent. And Feeney's like, as much of a rebel loner as one can be, living with 7 maiden aunts above a lace and linen shop. What an image.
Lace and linen shop. Amazing.
7 maiden aunts above a lace and linen shop. There's something so poetic about that. He's such a poet. And Tompkins goes, come on, he's a wild thing. Feeney's like, no, he's extremely cautious. He always wears his helmet when he's on his motorcycle. So then we're in the kitchen. Cory goes, I'm never going back to school again, okay? I've made up my mind. I don't want to talk about it. And Amy's just like, okay. And she turns to Morgan and she's like, so Noah had his paste cup and he reached over and took your paste cup? And Morgan's like, and he ate it. I love that both of her parents are invested in this story too, because Alan's there too. And he's like, and Mrs. Brookholder wouldn't give you another paste cup? Morgan's like, no, she's a witch.
Also,
like,
also them saying paste and thinking paste in the cup makes me want to eat the paste.
You seem to identify with Noah in this story.
I do, yeah. And I imagine that, like, in the cup, it was like a little plastic cup with the paste and like one of those like wooden sticks to stir it. I just want to.
Yes, much like Noah.
Yeah.
Cory's like, it's paste. My entire high school career crashed and burned today, and you would rather talk about paste? Alan's like, would you like to discuss it now? After your 2 seconds of saying I didn't want to talk about it. Cory's like, I choked at a makeout party, okay? Eric told me I'd choke. He warned me I'd choke, but like an idiot, I went to the party anyway. Amy's like, oh, Cory, your first parties with girls are always a little awkward. Cory's like, awkward? Mom, this wasn't awkward. Losing your gym shorts while climbing the rope, that is awkward. And it burns.
Oh no, that's happened to him.
I didn't even think about that until now. This was beyond humiliation. Way beyond. This was agoubois. Alan's like, agoubois? And by the way, love that the transcript that I'm reading spells agoubois like the French. So it's
agoubois.
Agoubois.
Amazing.
Agoubois. And he goes, so bad I had to invent a word for it. Eric said I'd choke, but did I listen? No, as he's walking out into the living room. And Alan just looks at Amy knowingly and he's like, aside from agoubois, the key word in all this seems to be Eric. And Eric walks in laughing and he goes, what's with Cory? I think he snapped. Amy's like, what did you say to Cory before this party? And Eric's like, I probably said, have a good time. Thank your hostess. And they have a conversation with him and they basically tell him that he's grounded. As long as Cory's home, Eric's going to be home with him. So now we're in the cafeteria, very different Eric and Cory dynamic. Cory's like sitting by himself eating lunch. Eric's like, hey, Cory, how you doing? Cory's like, just dandy, sitting here playing out the rest of my life as a nice boy. Eric's like, look, Cory, I may have slightly exaggerated the dangers in kissing a girl. Cory's like, forget it, Eric. I'm never dating again. Eric's like, no, see, you have to date again. You have to date again real soon. Cory's like, what's it to you? And Eric's like, you're my little brother. Your pain is my pain. If you're sitting at home on a Saturday night, it's like I'm sitting at home on a Saturday night. You got to get back out there, man. And they have this conversation about like taking off the training wheels from his bike. And Eric basically just says, so, you needed your training wheels on for a bit longer. You need a no pressure date to get your confidence back. And Eric decides he's going to take Cory someplace so unromantic, nobody will want to kiss anybody. And they decide that he's going to take Topanga. Cory's like, who am I going to take? I mean, no one's talking to me but Shawn and Topanga. And Eric just goes, take Shawn. And Cory goes, nah, Topanga. And Eric goes, you animal. We cut to what is obviously the set for Chubby's with a lot of tapestries. So it has now become like a basement cafe where they do stand-up like slam poetry, like open mic nights. I was really looking at all the decor because I wanted to see how the set designers were like, how do we turn this into a cool bohemian poetry? A lot of zigzags.
Oh.
A lot of squiggles and zigzags and squares.
Interesting. Is it still Panera Jazz, or is it also that like, what is the name of that style? You and I were talking about the squiggly 90s thing.
Squiggly 90s with like a cat playing the saxophone. I don't know. And
it's like that. It's like that Tennessee license plate with the cat. It's like a cat. I think he's got sunglasses on. He's playing the saxophone.
Yeah, it's very like Friends apartment. They're in this place, and it's so funny because Eric's like the least romantic place ever. Meanwhile, the minute I was like, oh, they're in a poetry cafe, I was like, that's awesome. That's exactly where I want to go on my first date.
I know. I was like, this is perfect, actually. I love it.
Right?
So mature because they're so mature.
Right? It's cute. Yeah. There's couches everywhere. There's no alcohol, so it's like perfect for middle schoolers, and they could just have like I love that Topanga wants a decaf coffee. Like it's great. It's
perfect.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is actually great. No pressure. And sure enough, of course, like the poetry they're reading is like the most sensual poetry ever, but we'll get there. And Frankie is on stage with his first poem.
Frankie
the poet. So he goes, this is for all my friends who choose to remain anonymous.
And his friends are like,
they're like hiding
down.
Poem of the fierce and bloodthirsty samurai warrior. Cherry trees are blooming. On the third evening, the last flower dies and falls. Thank you. It was so good.
You're right. That is good.
I loved it. Topanga waves Cory over to where she found a spot for them. And Cory's like, I like this place. Oh my God, I just realized Cory never even found a spot for them to sit. Like, he's literally doing nothing. She got her own coffee. She's finding them a place to sit. Like, boy.
Cory,
figure it out.
Together.
So Cory's like, I like this place. It's friendly. It's homey. There's something about it. Topanga's like, it's not a closet. And Cory's like, you noticed that too. And then Topanga's like, Cory, you weren't the only nervous person in that closet. Cory's like, no way. Topanga says, no, really, all those people outside listening, waiting. And that's when we get the line, yeah, but you girls have it so easy. You just have to stand there and wait to be kissed. Topanga's like, oh, please. Cory's like, what do you mean, oh, please? And Topanga says, speaking as a girl, we don't know what we're doing either. Cory's like, does anybody else know about this? Topanga's like, you're the first person I've told. Cory's like, so in the closet, if I had kissed you, Topanga's like, I wouldn't have known. I was worried about where my hands would go. Cory's like, oh, I could have helped you with that. Because earlier when he was talking to Eric, he was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. He just like moved his hands randomly around his body and he like knocked something over. And then a man steps up to perform his poem. And he's dressed in a black t-shirt and a full black suit.
A little tie around his neck, literally like a shoelace.
Yeah.
I was like, that is so 2016 coded.
Yeah. And he goes, I call this one the photo session. Oh, no, but my favorite was the man who introduced him goes, let's welcome our next word painter, Donovan. So Donovan steps up and he's like, I call this one the photo session. Lights. And the lights go down and somebody with bongos starts banging. And he goes, peaches. Ripened in the sun. Hot and sweet. Juice. Wetting your lips. And as he's saying all your eyebrows, well, the face you're making is the face that one of the extras made. And I laughed out loud because the camera is panning everyone in the audience and it's not on Cory and Topanga yet. But everyone starts like, all the couples start leaning in. Like a couple of couples start actually kissing. A couple are just getting close. But there's like an extra in the back who, when the couple in front of her on the couch starts kissing, she literally looks at them like, whoa. Like, get a room. Like, oh my God. Like, she's so shocked. It's so funny. Wetting your lips. And then you hear the bongos and he goes, and you. I can't even say this part with a straight face. And you nibbling the soft flesh. Nibble. 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 That's the funniest word.
Nibble.
Nibble.
Is that your word of the day?
I think it is. Nibble. Like they couldn't get too sensual with it, you know?
Yeah.
So I just thought it was the perfect ridiculous word to repeat. So as he's saying nibble, Cory and Topanga look at each other and they just like, their eyes are wide and then they like collapse into each other and kiss.
That was a very interesting moment because that to me was them acting on pure like I'm into you.
Yes.
Instinct. Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah.
Versus it wasn't like a let's get it over with or like I'll teach you and like we'll do this together. It was like we are into each other right now. Let's do it.
And that's how it should be. Right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this performative act for a bunch of people that are waiting outside of the closet for you to come out and show them what you look like after you've made out, right? So real kiss happens and good for Cory. It's not their first kiss though, and it's not Cory's first kiss.
Yeah.
But this is their first mutual consensual kiss, which means
Right. What was their kiss before this?
Topanga just pushed him against the wall and kissed him when he had duck hair.
No, they kissed after that too. Didn't they
did?
kiss during the wolf episode?
That was their first mutual consensual kiss. You're so right. Ooh, they have been kissing.
I love you. No, I love you.
I love when you do it where you put one mouth over the other that's closed. It's so funny to me. Because your fingers bend in this way that's like so comical to me. They like bend up.
This feels very serious. This to me feels like the start of something new. You know what I mean? Like it's the start of their relationship that's going to last for 10 years throughout the season.
And beyond. They're going to get married.
Well, I know. For the duration of the show.
The writers of the werewolf episode almost ruined the entire trajectory of the entire show. I felt like this episode was trying to rewrite their first kiss again and make it better. Make it what it should be. Susan Estelle Jansen was like, everybody step aside. This is how you do it. Miss Tompkins flirts with Turner and we skip over to Cory and Shawn, and Cory's telling Shawn about like the poetry reading and how it's like a breakthrough in dating technology. And Shawn's like, you made out at a poetry reading? And Cory's like, oh, I love poetry now. And in fact, I'm thinking about becoming a poet. There once was a boy named Cory. And Eric chimes in. And this is cute. They're actually having like a brother moment where they're like on the same page and it's cute. And Eric's like, who now has an interesting story? And Cory's like, he learned about kissing. And Eric goes, and all he was missing. And Shawn just interjects, when he and Topanga made out. Which, of course, my English teacher mind was like, how would I finish that poem? Not an easy poem to finish. Hard line to write.
What was he missing?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, and it has to rhyme with Cory and story. And all he was missing was something, something, something. With da 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 Cory. Da 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 story. Something da 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 glory. Maury.
Gory, Lori.
was a chance to establish his glory. I don't know. Cory's like, Shawn, can you say summer school? So Topanga walks by. She says, hi, Cory. Cory says, hi, Topanga. And Topanga's just like, well, see ya. And Cory's like, see ya. And the girls all around Topanga are like, and so they basically have the same interaction that like Turner and Miss Tompkins had, where she walks by, says hi, he says hi, and they like flirt. And Cory's just like, when are they going to leave me alone? So now he's like kind of popular. And we just get a little button or a tag where we're back in the poetry cafe. The same poet, Donovan, is on stage. He's doing another Peaches poem. But this time, everyone's in the cafe. So Shawn's there with a date. Turner's there with his date. Cory's parents are there with each other. Cory's there. Like, everybody's there. Even Feeney is there with a date. The poet's like, I call this one canned food aisle, which I already laughed. Lights. Clean peaches in heavy syrup. Syrup that drips from your tongue. Drips. Drips. Drips from your tongue. Fills your mouth with sweetness and makes you want more. More. That one was a lot more sensual, in my opinion, with the drips and the syrup and the. I was like, oh my god! And of course, that's when we get the shot at the end with Feeney, like, oh god! Like, it was just like probably a combination of like, this is really graphic sexually, and then also this poetry is terrible. It's just a bunch of words, man.
I think my takeaway is I'm going to start paying more attention to how I flirt.
Yep.
Because I honestly don't think I'm very good at it, and I would like to be better at it. I want to be more smooth.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to work at that.
Totally. I have two takeaways. I'm also going to work on the flirt. It's not hot when a person is fluttery and anxious and nervous. It's much hotter when they're sure and confident and know what they want. So I'm going to try to tap into that energy. And then also I'm going to remember that adolescents do need to have chances to take risks with each other and flirt and kiss and try that stuff. Because I think I can err on the side of conservatism with that stuff, and I get very like, no, not until you're older, like this is inappropriate, and I think there's harm that's done when you're made to feel ashamed of feelings of attraction, and you're made to feel like you can't do any of that stuff, and then all of a sudden you're at an age where it's like, why aren't you doing any of this stuff? And you're like, what? I was told that it was bad and wrong forever, and now you want me to just like be good at it, and I think I'm kind of the product of that a little bit, where I was raised to believe that flirting and kissing were like kind of bad, like they were naughty, so it kind of messed with me a little bit. I think I don't have like a healthy relationship with like flirting sometimes, not all the time. That's not really true, but like I'm not totally broken. I just could stand to be a little more confident. And I think rewatching this episode was a good way for me to be like, I probably should have had a childhood where I was like playing spin the bottle and kissing a little more and like experimenting with the stuff. I didn't. So I have to deal with that now, but maybe I can start to try to pretend I did, where would I be at now if I had, gotten all those jitters out as an adolescent and sort of matured past that? Because I do feel a little bit stunted sometimes. Yeah. Like, I can still feel like an adolescent, and I'm like, grow up. Like, you're 34 years old. Like, ask a person for their freaking number and text them and be confident.
Yeah, I get that.
Thank you so much for listening. Rate and review us. Please give us 5 stars, and please subscribe wherever you can, because it really helps. Follow us at Boy Meets Wine Podcast. Name of the wine that we had today is Juggernaut Cabernet Sauvignon. Theme song credit goes to Julia Rosa. And next week's episode is Season 2, Episode 10, Sister Teresa. Cory learns that it takes more than manners to be a gentleman. Cheers!
Cheers!